Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katy. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are continuing our countdown of our top 100 games of all time.
Doing 80 through 71.
80 through 71. But before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, and of course, hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
Or follow us on all of our social medias. Just follow the link below.
My number 80 is actually one we just picked up. It's been out for a little while. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong one. I'm glad.
We're doing number 80, not number 79.
No.
And
For
not
some reason,
60.
no. I was looking at this, and my brain immediately went to Next Station London, and then I looked at it again, going, "Wait, that's not right." No, it's not. Okay. My number 80 is Get On Board, New York and London. Now, we've only ever played the New York side of this, though, because we've only ever played it 2 players.
Yes.
I've not gotten to play the London side.
Nope.
So someday, hopefully, we'll eventually get to play the London side. But, so my number 80 is Get On Board. This is a remake of the game Make a Bus Route.
Let's make a bus route.
Yes.
Yep.
We've never played that one. I've never even seen a copy of it. However, this one, I mean, it's a flip and write, but there's more to it than that. You're marking things down on your player board, so your player sheet has a number of different things to mark out. You have your passengers types, you have your businessmen and your tourists and your students and your
old ladies.
Your old ladies that you are trying to get to various points in the city. And like the students want to get to the various universities, the businessmen want to get to the centers of commerce. Tourists want to get to the
Tourist attractions.
Well, the tourist attractions. I was trying to think of the big one, the Empire State Building. Meanwhile, though, instead of drawing on the board, which you would think of in a flip and write, you've actually got small wooden. I want to say cubes, and they're not cubes. They're little sticks.
They're kind of like the roads from Catan.
Yes. So the small wooden sticks from Catan that you are placing out on the board to create your bus route. So you're creating your bus route through the city, trying to avoid heavy traffic, trying to avoid other players because other players create heavy traffic, because that will cost you time. And you're flipping cards to determine what types of moves you're allowed to make in that round. You get 2 choices each turn. Every card flipped gives you 2 choices of routes, either straight ahead or turn here, or you can place 1 piece down or place 3 pieces down, but they have to all go straight. So there's all the different variations. You can break those rules, but it's going to cost you at the end of the game. So I don't know. I really like this one. I'm anxious to play the other side of it.
This is one of our, I keep looking up to the roll and rights. One of our roll and rights that I have that I really like and I really enjoy playing. But again, Pub Meeple apparently did not want to put it in my top 100.
Okay.
This is another one I'm really surprised was not in my top 100.
So far we've had no crossovers.
No, we have not.
Which is weird.
Because we exclusively play games mostly just the 2 of us. So.
And we like. I thought we liked the same kind of
Apparently
games.
not. Maybe when we get higher, when we get above 50, when the games start counting, that means they're really good. But
I don't know. Anyway, yes. So my number 80 is Get On Board, New York and London, specifically New York, because we haven't gotten to play London yet. So, all right.
Okay, so my number, we're at what? 80? 80, yes. I had to make sure I was doing the right one again, too. My number 80 is a very old game.
Okay.
You actually, I believe, yes, you taught this when we worked for Mayfair at Gen Con.
I only taught 1 game.
Yes,
so
I ended up teaching 2 that year,
game.
but you only taught 1. But This is all about throwing family members in a volcano.
Throwing your friends in the volcano.
So this is the downfall of Pompeii, or Pompeii, which is what most people just say, we're playing Pompeii. But yes, this is the downfall of Pompeii, where it's a two-phase game, where at the beginning of the phase, you are putting out your relatives, you're putting it out in buildings, depending on the cards you're playing. And now after that, you are going to start putting out cousins as well. So now you're putting out two. So you could put one in one building, then you could put another one in another building, or a gray building.
Of a different color or of the same color,
And then it is a, what is the thing?
79 AD card comes up.
And then after that, the volcano erupts.
Yes.
And now you're no longer putting out people anymore. Now you're trying to get people out while the volcano lava is hitting the areas. And basically you're drawing a card from the bag and you're placing a tile out someplace connected to the area that it's supposed to start in, because there's like six different types of with the different areas that are marked on the board. So like if you had like the mass, you got to start it over in the mass, but the mass could actually just kind of like how lava flows. It could flow almost all the way across the board if you really wanted it to. Yep. But the part is you're trying to get the people out while you're trapping everybody else's people in, or just dropping lava on it and taking them out. And if you do that, you get to take their peaks off and throw it into the volcano. So, but yes, it's a lot of fun. It is a take that type of game.
But it's the kind of take
but
that.
Yes, I think this is one of the first
hysterical.
take that games that we really played and didn't realize it was a take that game.
Yeah. It's just so much fun throwing your friends in the volcano. And that was the big selling point when I was teaching it at Gen Con, is to be able to tell people, well, I mean, you get to play, we shortened the game. It was like half an hour each time, but you get to throw your friends in the volcano. And I literally had kids look at me and goes, I can throw my dad in the volcano? Yeah.
Yeah, if he's playing the game,
so
this is a lot of fun. At first, I wasn't too sure about it, but she loved the game, so we have played the heck out of this game, and we've taught this game to a lot of people.
We have.
So, but yes, that is number 80, The Downfall of Pompeii.
All right.
Which is going to be on her list later.
Somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know.
Oh, if it's not, then Pub Meeple is...
seriously broken?
Is broken. Wow, people, she's like going to the front and she hasn't found it yet.
Really?
Well, apparently I like the game. I like the game better because it's not on her list. Wow.
How in the world?
Did you like accidentally delete it off and thinking, oh, I can't play that? This was like one of your favorite games for a long time too, and it's not in her top 100 anymore.
We need to redo the list.
So we see who likes it better now.
We need to redo the list. This list is wrong.
Nope.
That's all there is to it.
Nope.
The list is
nope. You had a chance to alter it if you wanted to, and you did not. So apparently you didn't read your list. So we're going to move on to number 79.
Okay, so my number 79 is one that I kickstarted a while back. I'm not even sure how. I'm trying to give this big description about it, and it's like it's Wild Serengeti. So
this wasn't that while back. I mean,
it's
maybe
been about a year or so.
Year or two,
2 years.
It was the one that came out.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because it came out, and then suddenly you got the notification that Amazonia is coming out.
Yes, and that's already in, and has been for a while now. All right, so Wild Serengeti is all about taking pictures on the Wild Serengeti. You are playing the part of photographers. You and your co-players are playing the parts of photographers who are trying to line up the perfect animal pictures by moving animals around on the board. And each turn you can move animals in specific patterns in hopes to fill your photography cards. Mm-hmm. At the end of the game, whoever has the most photographs, most points worth of photographs wins. The animals in this are gorgeous, and I think that's what draws me to it. So I've heard a lot of people say that the gameplay itself is not that great. I enjoy it still. Maybe if we play it more, it'll go down some. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I have found myself really enjoying this one. I enjoy the puzzle of exactly how to move the animals while trying to combat my opponents moving them where I don't want them. I
Well,
like
the good
that
thing
because
is, though, you can move an animal, but then they can't move
they
that
can't
back to
immediately
an
move
area.
it back.
Right, they got to try something
right.
else.
So exactly. And I like the fact that on this one you've got all these different terrain types, and certain animals, certain pictures want animals to be in specific terrain types. So you've got to have that jaguar in the trees with the crocodile in the water.
But they also have the crocodile. That's the one I always thought was funny, is the crocodile in the tree. I was like going,
he's just under the tree.
It's a tree.
He's resting in the shade. But anyhow, that is like I said. I just love the game. I love the graphics on the game. The artwork is beautiful. The animal meeples are gorgeous, nice chunky wood, beautifully screen printed animeeples, whatever you want to call them. Yeah,
Animals.
Animals. Yes. But anyway,
I think I like the animals in this one better than I did in the Amazonian one.
Yes, I do.
I
like the play of Life of the Amazonia better, but I love the components on this one. Absolutely love the components on this one. So anyway, that is my number 79, Wild Serengeti.
My number 79 is the brother, I guess, of a very well-known pickup. Well, it's not really a pickup delivery. It's a route building game.
Okay.
There's different variations. I actually have mini games of it coming out now, but this is Ticket to Ride Europe.
Okay.
I think I like it because the routes are so much more widespread.
Yes.
You can't get blocked in too quickly.
Europe has just a totally different route pattern.
Yeah. I mean, and they have some really long routes.
They have
especially going through the Russian areas and all that.
8 train routes, but there's a lot of just single routes, and there's a
Right.
lot of ways around where you need to go.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like a
yeah.
whole board of just nothing but rails everywhere there. And then they have the train stations. When you pass through, you can claim it when you connect there.
The train stations allow. Oh my gosh, it had something to do with other players being able to
Right.
use your route. But for the life of me, I don't remember off
Yeah.
the top of my head.
I remember it being a really cool. We haven't played this in a while though,
We
but
have not.
I do remember liking the way this
Yeah.
thing played.
Now, the last several times we've played any kind of Ticket to Ride, it's been to teach other people, which case you always pull out the base
Yeah,
game.
I think the last one we played was Rails and Sails.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do like Europe. I like the map. I do like the stations. For the life of me, I do not remember what they do though. I know it had something to
They
do
just
with other
changed the game a
players
little bit from the original Ticket to Ride.
and that's
which
Tickets to
each one
Rides-
of Ticket to Ride
yes.
changes it at least a little bit, if not on some of them drastically. Like in Markland, you have the passengers that you're picking
Yes.
up, and
No, every one of them has tweaked it just a little bit to
From the
make it more
original version.
thematic for the region that they're covering. And I
so
like that.
so Ticket to Ride Europe is my number 79.
All right. All right, my number 78 is a newer game. We got to play it for the first time out at Dice Tower West. Took us a minute to get our own copy, but we did. We played this on our 24-hour marathon. In fact, it is the game that opened our 24-hour marathon. That is Heat, Pedal to the Metal.
Wow.
I am not a big fan of racing games.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised this is on there, but Downfall of Pompeii
again,
is not.
The list is obviously broken because Downfall of Pompeii, there's no way that did not make my list.
Well, Heat's a better game anyway.
But anyway, Heat, Pedal to the Metal is a racing game that is based entirely on card play. You are playing cards out of your hand. The number of cards played out of your hand is based on the speed that you are going at the time. And you've got basically a little gear shift that runs between 1 and 5, I think it is, or 1 and 4. I think it's 1 and 4. And you are playing cards out of your hand based on that speed. Cards range anywhere from 0 to, take a chance. Why not? Draw another card. So you're trying, some areas you've got the open long stretches. You've got the long stretches of road where...
Straightaways.
Straightaways. Thank you. You've got the...
She's not a racer.
No, I'm not. Or a fan of racing, for that matter. But you've got the straightaways where you want to get your 4s and 5s out there, and you want to take a risk on getting more cards out. But then you've got your curves where you can only go a maximum of 3 through that curve, or 2.
Some with 2s.
Yeah. So you've got to be careful on exactly how fast you're going through that curve, because you're going to wipe out if you don't. I don't know. It's just fun. Every game we've played, whoever's in first has volleyed back and forth from one player to another. Nobody's ever in first for very long, and nobody's in last for very long.
Yeah, this is one, if you fall behind, you can still... A lot of people said, oh, once you fall behind, you're done.
No,
this one, you can catch up pretty good.
Yeah, you can. It's very easy to, actually, just by making the right decisions and somebody else flubbing their card draw.
Yep.
I really like this one. I've played a lot of racing games against my will. This is one I've actually really, really enjoyed. Somebody's hurt. Anyway, that's my number 78. Heat, pedal to the metal.
I didn't even check to see if this was on my list, but I imagine it is.
It's gotta be.
My number 78 is Going Back in Time. It's not the name of the game, though.
Okay.
It's all about... It is the game that I basically said is Quantum Leap.
Oh, okay.
This is Time Stories, where you are actually in a... kind of that room from like Quantum Leap, where suddenly you jump into somebody else's body through these portals, and then those people go back. I don't know. They never say, do those people go back up and?
Oh, they never
what's
go
his
that
name?
far.
Squiggy? No, not Squiggy. Why would I say Squiggy? But what was the guy's name?
Al, wasn't it? No.
Al.
Al. I don't know.
Anyway. But this is all about, you're going back and you're solving cases, like murder cases or just some crime cases that you had to go back. But you're using time units, and everything takes time units on how you're doing things, and you're trying to get all the way through the case with only a certain amount of time units. And if you fail to finish it off, you end up having to go back. Resetting everything, and you got to go back through everything. But the good thing about this is if you do have to go back and start over and come back, you know where everything is up until the point you screwed up.
Yeah, you still have all your memories, but you're still starting back at square one.
Yeah, so
you've got to rush.
But you can split up and rush, and it's like, oh, we had to go over here to get that before we had to go there and get that. And remember, we don't want to go down there because that was a dead end and just a waste of time, so we want to go back this way. And remember to check the trunk because the dead body's in the trunk. And about
spoilers.
We finished the trunk or something like that. I don't remember. Maybe I'm just thinking of another game.
I don't remember a dead body in a trunk anywhere.
I just remember looking at the trunk. Anyway, though, but yeah, so this is a lot of fun. I mean, because if you mess up, you have to start back over. You come back in, you already know half the game already, and then you go and just make sure you play the cards right.
Yeah, the very first time we did it, we were not quite sure exactly what we were supposed to be doing. We figured it out, and every game we've played thereafter, we played.
And we've played the base game, which was the Asylum, which comes with the original box, and then there's expansions that go with it. You have to have the base game to play everything because it has all the stuff you need, and then the expansions just gives you the cards that you're going to put in there. But it's a lot of fun. Anyway. So that is Time Stories, my number 78.
That's a good one.
Yes, 78.
Good one. So my number 77 is probably the first party game that has shown up on my list. It will probably be only one of a couple, but because we don't do a lot of party games. But this one is one I've even played with my mom, and she enjoyed it. But this is So Clover. So Clover it's a cooperative. You're trying to beat a score, basically. Trying to see just how high of a score you can get. The way this one runs, everybody has a little green dry erase clover. You get 4 cards with 4 words on each card that fit onto your clover. And you're trying to come up with words. You're looking at those 4 cards and trying to arrange them in such a way that
2 sides match the word you're going to put on your clover.
2 sides match up enough that you can come up with one common word to put on there. So, but the problem is doing 1 or 2 of those matches is easy. Getting that 3rd and 4th match sometimes is, you got to think a little outside the box.
Sometimes they come together, sometimes they don't. You got to stretch it.
And the interesting part of this is after you're done, you add a 5th card to the mix that not even you have seen.
Shuffle them up.
Shuffle them all up. You put them in the middle of your stack. Everybody can see the 4 clue words. But of course, they don't see everything else. One by one, everybody goes through all of the clovers that everybody's set up, and you're trying to come up with the pattern that they set. And this is where it gets interesting, because now you have to get inside that person's head to see what were they thinking when they were putting together these 2 words. And we've had some really interesting stretches. Some of them are super easy, but then that misleading 5th card happens to match up to one of your words. It makes it difficult. So, but you get 2 tries to get everything right before you kind of have to give up.
Yeah, and the person whose clover it is can't say anything.
Yes, you can't say a word.
You just have to stay there, because they get the first try.
Yeah, everybody talks together, you get the first 4 down, and they say, when everybody agrees, you say, okay, is that right? And the person who designed that clover, who set that clover, has to just go over and pull off the ones that aren't and leave it alone. Can't say a word.
Or say, yes, you are correct.
Or, if you're lucky, you get told, yes, you're correct. It's just a fun party game.
Yeah.
It plays up to 6 player. I guess you could get multiple copies and play more, but it would really drag out if you did that. But it's just, it really makes you think outside the box on some of these words. But yeah, super fun. But anyway, that is my number 77. Is that where we're at? Yeah, 77.
Yes, 77.
So clover.
Okay. So my number 77 is Coimbra.
Okay.
This is all about, how would you describe this? Is you're
drafting the dice.
You're drafting the
But
dice,
still,
that's right.
You're drafting dice.
To bid on cards in the row that they're at, and you can bid whatever number it is, you can bid up that much, but it's going to cost you soldiers or money
coins,
on there. And the other dice too are where you get your soldiers and your money from and all that. And so the dice have so many things that's going to go on. You got to watch, okay, I really need this card because that'll help me push this up, but this dice as well will help me push this up, and I'll be able to do this. So it's just like a bunch of combinations that you got to do. And it's all rolling dice. You roll the dice at the beginning, and then you just
whoever the first player is rolls those dice,
takes one
and then
and
from
puts
there
it
it's
out.
all drafted.
So yeah, it's really cool the way it worked. I didn't think I was going to originally like this game, but no, this one actually is a lot of fun.
It's not too bad. I don't think it made my list. I don't mind playing it by any means, but I don't think I don't think it made my list anywhere. Yeah.
Probably not. You don't enjoy it as much as I do.
Like I said, I don't mind playing it. It's not one that I'm going to pull off the shelf. So probably because I don't know if I've ever won the silly thing.
Apparently you don't like Pompeii anymore either. So
again, the list is broken, I'm telling you.
So that is number 77.
All right.
Coimbra.
My number 76 is another really big game. This is another Lacerda game. This is Kanban EV. Kanban is a game about building cars. You are designing and building out various car models in the factory while Sandra walks around and critiques your work.
Just like any boss would do.
Exactly. As the game progresses throughout the game, you're having meetings, and that's where most of your victory points are going to end up coming from. Throughout the game, you are getting car parts, you are getting designs, you are building out those designs and you're testing them out. Yes, you're testing the designs by pulling cars off of the track and putting them directly into your garage. You are pushing cars through the assembly line onto the track to be tested. There's a lot going on in this. There's 5 or 6 different places you can go to do things, to do actions. Yep, yeah. Throughout this, you have to train, because if you don't train, then Sandra's mean.
She penalizes the person who's least trained.
Yes, she definitely does. But super fun game. We have the metal cars, which weigh a ton. I was shocked how much those cars weigh. But that was a Christmas present last year before last, something like that. But yeah, super fun. Again, second entry for Lacerda onto my list. Probably not the last one. But yeah, that's number 76, Kanban EV.
Yep, this is a good one, and I imagine it's on my list someplace.
Oh, I'm sure.
So my number 75. I had to look see what number it was again.
175? We're on 76.
We're on 76. So I was going to tell you the wrong game. 76. No, I was going to tell you the right game, just had the wrong number.
Okay.
Okay, so mine is an exploration card building game.
Card building. Oh.
That we just played a lot of because we got the newest expansion, and for the first time was able to play this game cooperative. And that is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is the only way I think I can play this game anymore is cooperative because I really... and it's probably because I suck at it head-to-head so much is probably why it's down here so low. Okay. Because I really enjoyed the cooperative part of it.
I think before we got the cooperative expansion, which was a fluke, we had not planned on buying it. I don't know that would have even made your list.
No, it would not have.
Without that expansion.
No, I think that's what brought it up is because of the newest expansion. The Leaders expansion kind of helped it out a little bit because that changed some things. You got certain powers that other people didn't have.
Right.
And then the latest one, the Missing Expeditions expansion brought it up a little bit even higher.
Yes.
I wish I had written down where this actually was at last year. But I didn't because I failed to do that. So, but anyway, yeah, this is a game that you can explore. And a lot of people describe it as Indiana Jones, the board game, basically, because you're going out to digs, but you got to have certain resources to get out to the digs to go and find it. Basically, you got to have a bunch of compasses because you got to use a map to get out there.
You got to have a way to get back.
But you get out there to get more resources and more things, or you can go buy cards to put them in your deck. Which you can do this without buying them, but they give you a little extra stuff to do it with. When you go out to the digs, you got to fight monsters. If not, you're going to get fear. But if you play the leader that I like to play, you want those fear. Then you got tracks you got to go up. You got the research and the what is the other journal?
Well, it's the research track altogether, but there's two different pieces to that track. You have to first do the research, and then you have to journal it.
Right.
So you've got your magnifying glass in your journal.
Anyway, though, but yeah, so this is number 76, right?
76.
76, Lost Ruins of Arnak.
All right.
Which is probably going to be higher in your list.
Yes.
Because she really likes it, because she usually wins it.
I do.
So, my number 75 is the very first Shim Phillips game we bought.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. One of those.
This is Architects of the West Kingdom.
Okay. I was going to say, I couldn't remember if it was West Kingdom or...
Yeah, and when we got this, we had not played any of the Raiders of the North Sea or any of those yet either. No. So this was our first go at a Shim Phillips game, and I thought it was really cool of how you started with all your workers. You didn't have to go so far to get more workers. You started with everything, and you would place them out to get resources or what have you, and you can let it build, and the more you build up, you could get more resources depending on how many people are out there. But you had to keep an eye on those two because somebody could go up and just get you arrested and have you thrown in jail. Or they could arrest you and put them on their player board, and then you had to pay them a ransom to get them back. But it's really cool. You've got places where you can go and buy cards to go in your tableau.
Yes.
You could go to the black market and do some shady dealing, but then you go down the track of over here, you either want to be good or you're bad. If you end up so far down on the bad side, you're going to lose points at the end of the game. But this one, it just seemed like there was just so much you could do in this game, and I love the artwork anyway, though. But yeah, so this is Architects of the West Kingdom, my number 75.
All right. Well, my number 75 is one that we played for the first time just this past September at the Dice Tower Retreat. Loved it. Ended up getting it during the game exchange at the end of the retreat. But this is Atlantis Rising. Now, it's the second edition that we got, that we played and that we got. Atlantis Rising is an interesting cooperative game where the board is 6 different peninsulas off of the island of Atlantis. And throughout the game, pieces of the board are sinking, and you're flipping them over to show water instead of the land masses that give you different action opportunities. You're putting out your Atlanteans throughout the game to do different actions, and the further out onto the peninsula you go, the stronger those actions are. However, the more at risk you are of having that piece of the island flipped over before you actually get to take your action. And if that happens, you don't lose the Atlantean. He comes back to your board, but you don't get any action that round out of him. And that can hurt after a little while. So at the beginning of every round, you're sinking so many pieces of the island. The island is going to sink. There is no way around it. You cannot stop it from sinking.
Nope.
That's not the goal. The goal is to get all of the resources you need in order to build and open the portal to get all of the Atlanteans to safety prior to it sinking. So you're trying to get all the resources, and as a group, trying to get various pieces. I think there's 9 pieces in the portal that you're trying to get opened up. And once some of them are flipped over, once some of them are built, then you can actually use those as additional action spots if you wish. But the ultimate goal is to get all 9 of them built and then get the portal open. It is such an interesting cooperative game. It is definitely one of those where you are on your feet trying to figure out exactly, just how bad is that next card pull going to be that's going to sink something.
Right. And who's going to sacrifice themselves?
Who's going to sacrifice to keep it from happening, or to okay, I'm going to try, we really need this 3, or I'm going to try it and hope to heaven that that's not the piece of island that sinks.
And I do like in this game how you have your own. Each player is their own character, and each character has their own power. And
everybody has a specific asymmetric ability.
Yep, I really like that. That was good. And for some reason, Pub Meeple doesn't think I like it enough, because it's not my top 100.
See, Pub Meeple's broken. This is definitive proof.
My number 74 is a game of, you could say rust. A lot of metal, a lot of gears.
Oh, okay.
This is Corrosion.
Okay.
I had heard about this game for so long. She picked it up. We've played it now quite a few times now.
We've played it a few times now, yeah.
But this one is definitely an engine builder, because you're building an engine to score points, because
in the literal sense.
You're getting gears to put on there. You're paying with the gears to get the different parts. Some of them are temporary, and some of them are long-lasting. Depending on where the dial where you're picking your stuff up is what's going to happen on your board. So at the end of the round, you're going to run your machine, and you're going to get certain things to score points with, or get more of this, like more gears, more like the small gears, or the chrome gears. Is that what it is? I don't think it's actually chrome. It's something else. It's vibranium. That's what it is. Because they don't rust.
They do not. You're right.
But
they do not.
But yeah, so you can get some better gears, or you're going to get points, or you're going to be able to draw cards. Yeah. It just really weird. It's an engine building game that you're actually building an engine and running it, but it wears out, because after a certain while, after the dial goes around a certain time, some of the parts will drop off after a while, and eventually they all will drop off, and you got to keep bringing more in and building them onto your machine so you can keep your machine going, so that you're still getting stuff. So, but yeah, this is a really cool engine building game, and that is Corrosion number 74.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah, 74.
Okay, well, my number 74 is a very small card game. Although when we first saw this one advertised, we assumed
We figured it was going to be a huge game.
I thought it was going to be a huge game because it was everywhere that
Gen
year
Con.
at Gen Con. But this is Portal of Heroes. This is shockingly
Yes. We said we
a
want Portal of
small
Heroes.
little box.
I said, "Where's this game at?" And they showed it to us, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but I think it has some interesting card play in it. So we haven't played it in a very long time, and I think my desire to want to play it, my memory of having played it, is one of the reasons it's in the top 100. So I'm kind of looking forward to the P's when we get to play this one again, if we don't pull it out before then. All right, so how this one plays is that, and this one plays a number of people. I think it plays up to 5 players. In the center of the board, you've got a number of just number cards, what they call pearl cards, and then a couple of creature cards. And everybody, at the start of your turn, have a choice of taking either or. You can hold up to 2 creature cards on your board, but that's it, on your portal. And once you have your creature cards, you're trying to build your hand of pearl cards. Now, each creature card wants a certain series of numbers in order to satisfy it before you can put it away for points. That's the only way to get them off your board, is to give them these numbers they want. They want these pearl cards. So you are trying to build your hand with the pearl cards that your creatures want. And then once you have them, you can satisfy them, pull that creature off your board, and now you can get a new one. And then start building your hand all over again. It's just very interesting give and take with the cards to be able to do it. It's now that I'm explaining it, it's actually very simple. It's not a complex game at all. The artwork is gorgeous, beautiful colors. I love the design on the cards. But yeah, that is my number 74. What we thought was going to be an enormous game was a little bitty card game called Portal of Heroes.
This did not make my list.
Not surprising. So far, we've had no crossovers
I don't
at all.
remember a lot about this game, so.
Yeah, I
Like I said, we haven't played it in a while, so.
we have not, and I really, I love it though. But anyway, that's my number 74.
My number 73 is a game we have played once. I thoroughly enjoyed it, although I got my head beat into a wall. This is the game that I learned, don't take the first punch. Just stay cool, stay behind pillars, stay out of everybody's way, and they won't pick on you.
Oh my gosh.
This is Robot Quest Arena. We played this at the Dice Tower Retreat with one Jeff Knapp from the from Tabletop Toolbox.
Oh my gosh.
And another, I can't remember the other person's name, I'm sorry.
Paul, I think. I think it was Paul. I don't remember though. I'd have to
his
go back
name.
to my book.
But yes, this was actually it's a deck building game,
mackerel.
a deck building battle game where
Yes.
you are a little robot, you're in an arena, and you have cards that you're playing to do things on the board. You start off with a little, like a certain amount of life and a blue cube. When you lose a life, the person who took it gets the blue. When you lose your life, the person gets your blue cube. And your red cubes too, don't they?
Yes, they basically
They become points at the end of the
Yes.
game. And then you just get a new set, and once all those are gone, then everybody totals up their points of life that they took from other people, and the one with the most wins. I thought I would punch Jeff and then jump over him, but then realized I didn't have enough room to get away. So I ended up against the wall, so Jeff just came over and just rapid shot me straight into the wall, and just, as he described it, as bouncing my head off the wall numerous times, and then turned around and shot a grenade.
He had an
launcher
extra
at you.
action, so he just shot at me next,
But yeah, so this is when we decided Jeff's a bully. But this is not our type of game, because this is
not
just
by
a
any
nothing
stretch.
but take that.
Yes.
But is another game that if you have the right people,
And the right
this is a
mentality
really
walking into it.
This is a really fun game.
I have not laughed.
Is it?
I think this is the game I laughed the most at.
Yes. Is it a
at the
good enough
retreat.
game for us to go buy? Probably not.
I don't think we'd
I
ever
don't
pull it
think
off
we'd
on
pull
our
it off
own.
shelf. But
Again,
is it
it's
a
gotta be
good
with those
game
right
with a
people.
lot of the right people in the large group? Yes. It is definitely worth going out and getting if you like that type of game.
It's definitely worth trying.
Yep.
Even if you don't like this type of game, it's worth trying with friends who do not take it seriously.
Right. If you're just playing the game to have fun, which is
Yeah.
what you should do
Yeah.
anyway. But anyway, so this is Robot Quest Arena, my number 73.
All right. My number 73 is a tile placement game, polyomino game, where you are building out bear parks. And this is called Barren Park. We've had this one for a while. We played a lot of it when we first got it. But you are building out, every player has to build out 4 sections of their park. And you can't open up the second section until you cover a specific icon on your first section, and et cetera, et cetera. You can't open up the third till you've covered that icon on the second. But each turn you are pulling tiles off of the main board to put into your park. You can pull those tiles based on, well, you're placing tiles on your board out of your reserve. And then whatever you cover up on your player board, whatever icons you're covering up in your park, with those tiles dictates what you can take off the main board. And then those tiles now go into your reserve. So there may be rounds where you take no new tiles. There may be rounds where you're taking 3. It just depends on exactly what you're placing out from your reserve and what you've built up in your reserve. I don't know, it's a fun tile placement game, but you can build out your park in any shape you want. The cards are just these little 4x4 grid cards that build out your park. But you're trying to fill up each one. When you do, you get the statue from the stack, and the faster you get your pieces filled up, the higher value those statues are, the more victory points they're worth. We've got the expansion too that adds monorails to it.
And the monorails makes it like a 3D
like
game
a 3D
now.
board, very interesting. But you've got to try to hook up your monorails to get extra points. I just really love the puzzle of this one, and I like polyomino tiles anyway. And this one is just—it's a classic. It's just a beautifully done game. But that is my number 73, Barren Park.
Yep, not on my list.
Not shocked.
Nope. So, my 72 is our first crossover.
What?
Yep. So, apparently I like this game a lot more than she does.
What?
Because it was her number 98. That is Caverna, the Cave Farmers.
Wow.
This is, in Caverna, you are cave dwellers. You are building out your caves, you're tunneling into your caves, mining your caves, making rooms in your cave, but you're also have your farm on the outside, you're planting crops, you're tending to animals, you're building barns for your animals, you're breeding your animals, and you can also go on little adventures to score points, to score extra stuff depending on what level of adventure you are. You're going to get a little extra treasure as you come back. That's going to help you with your farm, feed your families and all that. You can even have your donkey sleeping in your house with you. Or you can stick them down the mine where they never see the daylight again, which is so sad.
Don't understand that, but okay.
But yeah, so you don't have to have farms for donkeys if you don't have a lot of donkeys, but you're going to lose points at the end of the game if you don't have all the animals anyway. I do want to play, we've played it once with one of the expansions that gives you the...
the Forgotten Folk.
Yeah. We played that, and did not realize at the time, I played the hardest one out of those and had a rotten time with it. So I do want to play some of the other ones and see how those play, though. But yeah, that is Caverna, the first crossover at 72.
Wow, that was my number 98. Okay, I was shocked. Okay, we finally had a crossover. All right, my number 72, I thought for sure you had mentioned already. It must have shown up on one of our top 10s, though, because I don't see it on your list yet. But my number 72 is a tile placement game that is probably most compared to the movie Waterworld. Never seen the movie.
Oh.
I've heard lots about it. But this is Flotilla. Flotilla is a longer, complex tile placement game. The first half of the game, you are basically what they call sink-siders, and you are diving into the ocean to find resources. The premise of the game is that the world is basically flooded, and 98% of the world, and I could be totally wrong on this percentage, but a good chunk of the world is now water. So everybody is living on what are called flotillas. So the first half of the game, you are a sink-sider building out your I want to say army of ships, and that's not right. You're building out your shipyards to
Your fleet of ships.
Thank you. That is much better word for it. You are building out your fleet of ships in order to be able to expand a little further, to explore more, because you're exploring the tiles, you're putting out more ocean tiles so that you can go down and get resources, sell those resources to the supply to get money to fund more research and more exploration. At some point during the game, though, everybody has a choice, and everybody makes this choice separately. You make the choice to sell off your fleet of ships and go skyside. And when you do that, you are no longer diving into the ocean for resources. You are now taking all of those resources that you have either not sold back to the game yet, or that you are buying from the market. Thank you. Or that you are buying from the market in order to build the flotillas that everybody depends on to live on. And that is how you're scoring your points skyside. There is no one right way to play this game. There has been many a times that I have waited till the last minute to go skyside, and I'd have to go back and look at the scores to see how well that worked for me. But I feel like every time I go skyside, he beats me by one round. So I stay sink side because that's where the money's going to be. So yeah, it's just a really interesting tile placement game. It's a longer game. It does take 3 or more players, so we don't get it to the table very often. But when we do, I thoroughly enjoy this one.
Yep.
But yeah, it's my number 72, Flotilla.
Yeah, and this will probably be coming up later.
Oh, I'm
but
sure
this was
you
in my
love this
top
one.
10 tile placement games.
Yes, that's why I knew you talked about it recently.
So my number 71 is the second of probably, and the last one of the Shim Phillip games.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were going to say we had another crossover.
And that is Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
Oh,
We played this at Dice Tower West. I really enjoyed it. You had a really rough first half of the game.
I had, for medical reasons, I had a very rough game of that one.
Yeah.
But I have since come to really like it.
Yes, yeah. This is a tableau building game where you're not really placing workers.
You are, but your workers are shared.
Yeah.
So once you put them out on the board, they no longer belong to you.
Right.
is
And you're
interesting.
using those workers to get different things, but you
you're
can
also
also
using
do dice. You're using mostly dice. It's one reason why I like this one is because it's a dice placement again. But you're putting dice on your cards to be able to do certain actions, to be able to buy more cards, to be able to do other things. You are also using the dice to go to areas to be able to pick up workers that are out there. It's just really cool on seeing your tableau build that engine that you could do every round to score more points, to fill in different things, to try and to win the game. So we have played the North Seas. We've played 2 or 3 of the North Seas series. Yeah. We've played 2 of the West Kingdom, and this is the first one of the South Tigris. I'd like to see what the one that just came out is all about. But so far, this is probably my favorite one of his games so far.
For sure, this is my favorite of his games so far.
But yeah, so that is Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
All right, this one will probably show up later on my list.
Wow, you like it that much more than I do.
Yeah, I do really like this one. All right, my number 71 is one that we have had for quite some time, and Greg tolerates it. I know it will not show up on his list, I can guarantee you that. But this is Isle of Cats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's that low.
It's a tile placement. There's a lot of good games out there. So yes, this one is.
And none of them are Pompeii.
Again, broken list. I'm telling you. All right. So anyway, Isle of Cats is, like I said, tile placement game. You are trying to, good luck with this, but herd cats onto your boat to get them off of this island before, and I cannot think of the guy's name now, but anyway, before the bad guy comes to set fire to the island. That's the premise of the game. So you are trying to gather up as many cats as you can. You're trying to lure them into baskets with fish to get them onto your boat, and you're placing them out on your boat to cover up rats, the idea being that they're eating the rats. You know, cats will be cats. But you're trying to follow certain lessons that are out that will give you extra points if you have so many cats around the outside of your boat, or you have so many red cats in a family, or whatever the lesson cards may be. And the lesson cards are all victory points at the end of the game. You are grouping your cats by family, by color, in order to, again, gain points by the end of the game. Meanwhile, you're trying to cover up as much of your board as you can, because you get negative points for any rats that are still showing, or any rooms that are not completely covered. I love the puzzle of this one. I understand a lot of people don't like this one because the card play is a little wonky. You are drafting cards in order to play, and then once you've drafted them, you have to pay for the ones you want to keep. And the cards could be anything from take more fish based on what's happening on your board, to here's a free extra basket every round, to here's, you know, extra baskets or extra boots. Boots meaning how quickly you're going in the turn order. Lots of different things happening. There is a family version where you take the cards out of the mix. We've never tried that. I don't know if that would change up the game any or not, but I've even played this one solo, and I'm not sure if I liked it or not. So I'd have to go back to it again. I do remember enjoying it, but I remember it being tougher than I thought it would be. But then again, I also don't play solo games, so maybe solo games are supposed to be that hard. I don't know. But anyway, that is my number 71, Isle of Cats.
And this is not on my list.
But
I think I figured out what my problem is with this game.
Okay.
They could, delete one of the components out of this game, and because you wouldn't need it, if you changed the baskets to cardboard boxes, because then you would not need fish in the cardboard box for a cat to get in. All you'd have to do is set a cardboard box out, and the cat is going to climb in it, whether there's anything in it or not.
This is true.
Because how many cats do you know that just climbs right into a basket?
No. But
exactly. Cardboard boxes. Change them to cardboard boxes. Take away the fish. You don't need the fish. Well, I guess you're going to pay fish to... Well, then you could just put coins in, because you use coins to pay for the cards. You don't need fish to lure the cats in. You just need a cardboard box. Am I wrong?
Well, Frank West, you heard it here. Change it out to cardboard boxes.
Or bring in an expansion that you don't need the cardboard. It's
cardboard
boxes.
Boxes are free. There you go. That's hysterical. Okay, but anyway, that's my number 71. And that is the end of this portion of the list. So let us know what you agree with, where some of these have fallen for you. And thank you for watching.
Until then, we'll see you at the next one.